Imagine walking through the grand halls of Downton Abbey one last time, every echo reminding you that this is goodbye. But this isn't just another farewell. The final Downton Abbey movie is set to flip expectations, throw in shocking twists, and deliver a send-off that's bigger, bolder, and more emotional than anyone dared to imagine. And at the center of it all, a completely unexpected character who might just change everything. After years away, the Crawleys are taking their final bow, and they're not coming alone. The biggest surprise? Paul Giamatti is returning as Harold Levinson, Cora's eccentric American brother we last saw back in Season 4. At the time, he felt like a fun side character. But now Harold's role could shape how this entire story ends. Even Giamatti himself was shocked when creator Julian Fellowes personally called to invite him back. He's keeping quiet about Harold's exact part in the plot, but the hints are clear. It's big, it's important, and it's going to leave an impact. The first teaser posters have already dropped, with Lady Mary front and center in all her elegance. And at CinemaCon, fans got a glimpse of early footage. It opens with a classic horse track scene before Carson, the ever-dignified butler, announces, "Welcome to 1930. From there, we're treated to flashes of familiar faces. Mary in a striking red gown, Edith smiling among the crowd, and a room full of celebration and dancing. One particularly moving shot shows Robert pressing his hand to his lips, then to the walls of Downton itself. A quiet, emotional gesture that says more than words ever could. The final chapter is set against a backdrop of major historical shifts. It's 1930. Women have just won equal voting rights, political tensions are rising, flapper fashion is in full swing, and aviation is reaching new heights. But lurking in the distance is the shadow of an unstable economy. Downton Abbey has always thrived on showing how big social changes ripple through both the aristocrats upstairs and the hard-working staff downstairs. And now, those ripples feel like waves. But this farewell isn't without heartbreak. The absence of Violet Crawley looms large, especially after Maggie Smith's passing. Lady Mary's future also feels uncertain, with rumors that Matthew Goode, Henry Talbot, might not return. Still, the cast and crew promise fans will leave satisfied. Joanne Froggatt, who plays Anna, said she was completely moved by the ending, crying for a solid 10 minutes, not just because it was the end for the characters, but because it closed a massive chapter for the actors themselves, many of whom have lived in these roles for nearly 15 years. Interestingly, Julian Fellowes isn't calling this definitely the end. He admits that every time he says goodbye to Downton, he finds himself coming back. But for the original cast, this likely is the final curtain call. Many started in their early 20s and have grown, married, had kids, and in some cases divorced, right alongside their characters. Sure, the estate has its next generation of heirs, but replacing this cast would mean telling an entirely different story. Downton's magic has always been tied to these people, their relationships, their conflicts, their growth. Remove them, and it's no longer the same Downton Abbey. Over 70% of the original season, one cast stayed through to the very end, a rarity in television. That's part of what made Downton a worldwide phenomenon. The upstairs Crawleys and their downstairs staff are two halves of one story, deeply intertwined. Without Robert and Cora's quiet strength, Mary and Edith's sibling rivalries, Carson's booming authority, Mr. Bates's calm presence, Mrs. Hughes's gentle wisdom, and Thomas's complicated heart, it just wouldn't feel complete. The film leans fully into its role as a final goodbye. The marketing itself whispers nostalgia. The place will always remember. The family will never forget. Everything has led to this. One shot even mirrors Robert's earlier moment, his hand resting on the grand stone of Downton as if the house itself is a beloved character they're all saying farewell to. One curious detail? Thomas Barrow is completely absent from the trailers so far, despite Robert James Collier being confirmed to return. His love interest, Guy Dexter, played by Dominic West, appears frequently, hinting Thomas might be just off-screen for now. Last we saw him, Thomas had left Downton to be with Guy, a romance quietly coded into the story due to the era's laws. Fans are hoping the film gives him the happy ending he deserves after years of hardship. Maybe the secrecy around his role is to keep that surprise under wraps. Whether or not Fellows ever revisits Downton in the future, this finale feels like the right time to let the story rest. In an age when so many shows refuse to give their fans a true ending, Downton Abbey is daring to step off the stage with grace. This isn't just the end of a TV series, it's the end of an era. And for everyone who's walked the halls of Downton, upstairs or down, it's one last chance to say goodbye.